Yeah, man. My name's Kevin Christian, and I'm on remote neural monitoring. It is the 26th of November, and it's about 1 a.m. in the morning, and I got to be up extremely early. Um, so that's okay. This is usual. This is the typical. This is typical type of thing. So if I turn out my light and I lay in bed, then I get attacked heavily. I fall under attack like violently. So right now I've got three men. They all live on Howard Circle in Jonesboro, Georgia, at the same house, and they are wearing their EMF mind control headsets, and they are on remote neural monitoring themselves, and they have access to their own and mine online, and they've connected that, and they're receiving me, and they're using broadcast to attack me literally with the broadcast that they're living as on mind control. Okay, and that's how it works. So I've got gang stalker Marcus. He's 54 years old. I believe he's 54, and he's the youngest one of the little group. And he's screaming in his usual Teletubby, Elmo, transsexual, flamboyant girl voice that he likes to use. That's like his character. That's what he uses most of the time when he talks, and he's on mind control all the time. So he's started to get very demented and actually live as this character. His brother, who is 59, his older brother, and he's just a really pathetic guy who's always trying to talk to me, really desperate to try to talk to me. And then there's the idiot number three, the third guy, who's there's a couple of different third guys, but there's usually only three, but sometimes there'll be four at a time. But the third guy is usually uses the same voice setting. So as no matter who he is, he'll use, and there's two of them. Okay, there's two guys that alternate as the third guy. I don't really alternate. It's just whenever they're around. They're not either of them are not full time all the time around like Marcus and his brother, but the third guy, whichever one it'll be, and I can always tell the difference between them. But they always use the Ricky voice, and sometimes they'll blend the Ricky voice with the Black James voice, use like a hybrid voice. So the third guy is very active with them right now. He's always like, Kevin, Kevin, right, and like he's trying to get my attention, like this better be important. Like what? Like God himself has summoned him to send me a message, right? This is how desperately this guy screams my name on artificial telepathy. Um, so I'm just laying here trying to go to sleep because I have to go to work very early. And as usual, when I turn out the light, that's when they get real stupid. Okay, and they're laying over there like incapacitated, like in this catatonic sleep state, living as a broadcast. And when they are in that sort of setting with broadcast, they become very um, they're very driven by subconscious. So they want to be abusive and act retarded, and they're begging for attention. Really, they're just begging for attention. They got nothing else going on in their lives, and especially Marcus and his brother. They don't get off of this mind control ever. They sit over there on mind control 24/7 all the time, even while they sleep. Like I'm saying, because when they're asleep, that's when they're living as a broadcast, okay, it puts them into this subconscious sleep state, what they call being catatonic. Okay, so it's really like their physical body is asleep. So they can be on mind control, awake or asleep, and be awake as a broadcast while they sleep. So they can do this 24/7, and that's what they do. Okay. Um, I got hundreds of videos posted of Marcus over there playing porch light games and stuff like that, just bragging that he's on my neural monitoring. I've been talking about these guys for years, but one of the biggest problems that I've had over the years, last 2.5 years, um, especially, I know it's been since when I really started to notice it back in like middle of 2017, and now we're almost at the end of 2019 of them deleting my people, deleting things and people off of my accounts, mostly Instagram and Facebook. And they've attacked my YouTube account before, um, but they don't usually attack my YouTube account, and they've been attacking my main Instagram account less. And if you want to follow me, it's at Kevin underscore M underscore Christian. All right, if you want to follow my Instagram. And I also got at EMF broadcast, at remote neural monitoring, and at EMF mind control. I've got like 5 different Instagrams. So, but the main one, my first one, I got locked out of. I mean, it still exists, but I can't get to it. And it's at Martin Crisk, and Martin is my middle name. But the at Kevin underscore M underscore Christian is my main account. I don't talk about targeting stuff on there. I just use it for an Instagram account, and it's not an account that I push this initiative with. That's I use the EMF broadcast and the remote neural monitoring accounts for that mainly, but I don't check them near as often. But really, I mean, if you want to talk about that kind of stuff, Facebook is the better place, because if you talk about that kind of stuff on my Instagram, I'm probably gonna just not answer and pretend to be normal. I might answer you, but I try to keep some normal stuff going on, because everybody doesn't know about this stuff and everybody doesn't talk about it, and I don't want to seem like some bizarre weirdo. So I need something. I need something to be able to say, oh yeah, I got Instagram. You want to follow? Like if I'm talking to some girl out somewhere and I'm like, yeah, well, here's my Instagram, or what I'm saying, rather than my phone number. So I need something that doesn't just not filled up with targeted individual stuff. But I've been keeping up with it a lot closer lately, because especially that account, I went and deleted everybody that I don't know personally, pretty much. And a couple of you guys that are about targeting stuff that I talked to, I left on there. But for the most part, it's like my personal, normal people account. And so it only follows like 100 and something people, I think 170 people, and like close to 400 people are following me on there. It was a lot more, but I continue to have this problem with them deleting people. And so lately, they backed off of that a little bit, but not today. Today, they went ahead and deleted a few people off of there. So the thing was that yesterday, or really not even yesterday, it's about 15 hours ago, about 7 a.m. on the 25th of November, yesterday, really, because it's after midnight. But I did a screen record video, and I went through all of the people who are following me and all of the people that I'm following. Okay, and I posted it. I posted it private in a playlist where I post that type of thing. I used to make those public, but everybody gets the idea. They're attacking my accounts, and I can prove it by doing these type of screen recording videos and showing that every day. And I used to, when my accounts used to be blowing up, when I was really pushing them a little bit, especially the other ones about EMF broadcast and remote neural monitoring, and they're still doing this, deleting people. But I would literally have them sometimes delete up to 50 people in a day. But I was doing these screen recordings. First I was doing screenshots, and then I was upgraded to screen recordings, and that works a lot better because it gives you the full aspect of, here's what's going on. And I turn it on. I turn on the screen recorder, then I'll go on to my account, and the notifications pop up like 29 people followed you. And I would check, and then you can check the videos in order and see that even though lots of people were following me, the numbers would still be going like the opposite way, going down. And it's because Marcus and these guys are over here. They're jealous of me, and is what they are. Right. So they'll go on there every single day and like delete a bunch of pretty girls and stuff like that. They can't stand it. They can't stand it. They have no life. They have nothing going. And they've decided that they want to make me their main focus in life. So I'm their obsession. Okay, really, I'm their life. And so they really slowed down a lot since I started keeping up with it like vigorously, like down to the who's following me and who I'm following, and going through that in my videos. And it's a pain. It really is. But like they deleted some people today. And if I want to, I can go reference the video from earlier and the one I just made just now and find out exactly who they deleted. Right. So, and this is real evidence. All right. And I'm not posting those videos publicly anymore because it's my account. It's my private account, and people that follow me and that I follow or whatever, they probably don't want to be on my public YouTube channel, and I understand that. I used to do it anyway because it's just such a big problem, and I needed everybody to see that. But the track record of hundreds of videos showing that, it speaks for itself. I don't have to convince anybody that they're attacking my accounts. So that's already established as a for sure. Okay, and they do the same thing with Facebook. And about once a week, I'll get data downloads, and you know, at some point, and I still do the Instagram screen recordings, and I do all of these things to ensure that I have that information, and that evidence is really what it. I mean, it's not like I need the data downloads, but if somebody's doing things to your accounts, then you can always go back and reference, like, well, here's what it used to have on there. But, here's all the people that used to be there before these gang stalkers decided that they were obsessed and jealous. And since they don't have pretty girls following them or talking to them, they want to go delete them all off of my account or whatever their reason is. Doesn't matter. It's account theft, it's identity fraud, and it's all kinds of things, that criminal charges that can stem from what they're doing. All right, so that's the dumbest part of what they do, because remote neural monitoring, it's very difficult to prove unless you can get access to it or whatever. Like, and I promise you, at some point, they will be held accountable for that, for remote neural monitoring and for EMF broadcast, for torturing people and being a obsessed, violent stalker that tortures people. They'll be accountable for that. But meanwhile, they're so dumb that they can't even help themselves to continue to do things that they could end up in trouble for now. Like, these things are actual laws already. You can't just go on people's accounts, right? And this is a big reason why, because look, here's let me just go through some things, okay? And these are important. All right. So for one, it's very common that a gang stalker will access your phone, your Wi-Fi, your laptop, your everything, right? They will access your everything. And if they're smart, they'll be unnoticed on your stuff, and they'll just have access and try to go unnoticed. But if they're stupid and they're obsessed and they're jealous and they're driven by this envy, and they want to brag and just try to do things to piss you off and everything else, then they're going to start doing stupid stuff. Okay, and that's what these guys do. All right, so they've been given access to all of. They're not hackers. They're not hackers, and they're not that smart. But um, they've been given access to everything, because if somebody puts you on remote neural monitoring, well, that person is likely going to have uh, either the ability themselves, or they're going to have the somebody that's going to give them the coding, or somebody that'll write it for them, and they're going to write um, basically they're going to write your neural monitoring into an app or a website with coding. All right, they're going to integrate that with like APIs and SDKs and things like that. So, and if you don't know what those are, look into it. Okay, APIs where you can take coding from, like, say, the Facebook API. All right, if you look up the Facebook API, it's going to be all these different coding things where you can integrate portions of Facebook into a website. So I could say I could go on kevinchristian.com. If I made that, I can't, because somebody already has kevinchristian.com. But say I did have it and I made kevinchristian.com. All right. And then I could integrate Facebook into that with the API, the Facebook API. And I could also do that with Instagram, YouTube, and a lot of big sites have APIs. All right. So then I could go to kevinchristian.com and have, like, my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and everything integrated all into one site, right? Where I could just go to that. It'd be like my thing, be like my stuff. All right. So that's what they do. They make a site and they'll integrate your neural monitoring, and Facebook and Instagram are the main two. That's the main stages for what these gang stalkers use. And they'll integrate everything into a site, or they'll integrate it all into an app, right? You can look on the App Store and you can find all kinds of third-party Facebook apps. Well, you can make one, right? You can, or you can just take the standard one, get the APK file and put it into Android Studio, if you're working with Android, or Xcode if you're working with Apple iPhone stuff. And you can take that raw app file package, and put it into there, and then you got all the coding like in Android Studio to show you all the coding for everything, and then you can go in and alter that and modify things, and you can integrate neural monitoring right into it. Okay, and then from there it's like a whole separate app. You don't list it on the app store, but you have it, right? And it has, and that's what these gang stalkers do for themselves too, right? If they don't really just access the neural monitoring straight from the website. I mean, they probably can, they probably do, but they like to hide it so they can have it right on, their phone, and you can't find it because it's in like a Facebook app or something like that. And I watched a guy with my own 2 eyes. I already knew that they did it this way, okay, but the visual confirmation of personal experience, I watched a guy go into the weather app within the Facebook app and did a screen maneuver, and it started spinning this thing, and he stopped it on a certain code, and then it went into his neural monitoring where he started adjusting his own little broadcast settings and stuff like that. So I've seen it personally. I've seen it done. I swear to God. So I already knew, but that was the visual confirmation to 100% know. So that's what they do, okay? And the problem is when they do this, with whether it be website or an app or whatever it is, um, you can't access that. All right, even though it's your account integrated into that, you can't access it unless you have it. And it bypasses two-step verification. There's nowhere on Facebook or Instagram to show that these things have been, that your accounts have been linked to these apps or websites. And Zuckerberg and these companies are going to pay billions of dollars to all of the victims of this type of thing because it's a complete invasion. It allows people to basically steal your accounts, and that is where, I promise you, that is where gang stalkers are doing the live streams. All right, so if I got a Facebook app that I made and wrote your neural monitoring into it, and linked it to your Facebook account, then I can do live streams and um, give that app out to whoever wants to pay me to access the live stream, whoever I want to have access to it. If I want to get a bunch of gang stalkers your neural monitoring, let them do live streams and access my live streams or whatever, then that's how they do it. And you can't access it, right? So I don't exactly know how to do that, or how to, maybe there's some kind of API blocker or some kind of way to figure out what your account is linked to, what your Facebook or Instagram accounts are linked to, but I don't know what the procedure is for that. And I'm not a hacker. I've learned a lot about coding, but it gets very deep. And then even when you're learning about these things, it's not like you're gonna find out the secret stuff like that. So um, it's something you would really just have to take a lot of time, probably years, to learn from start to finish and really become a master at that, to be able to stop them from doing that. But, I figure if I tell thousands of people how they do it, that's going to help because we can all definitely all work together. I just don't have the time really to do all of these things because I'm trying to do so much. And I'm not forgetting about the initiative to get an FCC class action lawsuit going about EMF broadcasts, because that is their purpose, to regulate broadcasts, and we are under attack. And this neural monitoring is a broadcast thing, and so that's going to end up happening. It's just going to be a while to really get the ball rolling. I've probably got 50 emails at this point from different people, but a lot of you guys aren't sending me, you're sending me a lot of stuff, but it's just, random files and PDFs and things, but it's not like personal videos of you with your EMF meter and things, that, because that's really what we got to have, like the type of videos I post, where I take my meter, and I'll check my meter on the video, and it'll be at 200 or 300, and I'll start talking about it, and walking around and showing the meter at different places, And then you can see that they turn it off when they're caught. And a consistency, if you get that kind of video all the time, and I've seen a few of you guys are doing those, and that's good. And I applaud that, because that's what we got to do to really start getting real evidence. And hundreds of us need to come together with a overwhelming amount of real evidence, and then file about a $10 billion lawsuit and get everybody's attention. And then the whole world's going to be paying attention. Like, a group of targeted individuals files billions of dollars worth of lawsuits against the federal government and the FCC or whatever it is, however this works out. But it's going to be a process. But back to the whole Facebook, Instagram thing. The same difference. There's going to be billions of dollars worth of lawsuits filed against Facebook and Instagram and Zuckerberg and these companies because of the violations against people, by not making it where, I can't, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing I can do to unlink. There's nowhere on my settings or anything else that shows that my accounts are linked to anything like that, that they're doing. But then, daily I can make videos to show that they're for certain. And I've been doing this for years. Okay. So I've got hundreds and hundreds of videos, and for a long time I made them public. If you want to go check my channel, there's playlists of hundreds of videos where it shows the daily. I used to try to do it daily, and they were deleting a lot of people off of my accounts daily, like sometimes 100 or more, and there was times where it was 100, but commonly like 10 to 20 people a day, every day, off of like all of my accounts. So it's a hassle to do that, but it gained me so much real evidence. And who knows how bad it's going to be for all of these entities when it comes to these lawsuits that are coming. They're definitely coming, because too many people are affected by this, and these gang stalkers are out of control. They're acting stupid, and they're doing things that are provable. You got the best technology in the world that's hardly even traceable, that nobody can figure out what's going on. And instead of just using that, you want to get greedy and start deleting all kinds of stuff off people's accounts and like blocking their internet and stuff like that. And it's just dumb. So the guy that interviewed me a couple times recently, I did a few shows with him for his channel, and his name's Jimmy James, and you can check those out. I posted them on my Facebook page. But also, I saw something from him earlier where he's having trouble getting his videos uploaded on YouTube. And I went through the same thing. They were into all of my stuff. They were into my phone. They were into my Wi-Fi. They were into my laptop. They were into everything. And it was a huge problem for a while. They had me so suppressed I couldn't do anything. And one of the things that is important that you should check into is, at the time I had a two-wire router, and it was through AT&T, and it was a DSL router, and the IP for it was 192.168.1.254. Okay, and so if you go to Chrome, and it's got the search bar at the top, like in the bar on the very top, and then it's got one on the page, not the one on the page, but the bar at the very top. Okay, if you type that router IP address into that bar, then it's going to take you to your web-based online control panel for your router, for your internet service. So you can control all the Wi-Fi and like the IPv6, and check all your different IP addresses and all of your different settings and everything. Everything is there. Okay, and so I used to make these videos, and where they would like take away, because like for some reason whatever they got going on, IPv6 was very important, and they would like completely hijack my router. So they would run this little program, and then it would hijack my router, and it would change the IP addresses for my internet service, not the router IP address, the one I just mentioned, but my actual IP addresses, and it would change those. And basically they would completely hijack my service. And so I was making videos for a while, and they're on my channel back there somewhere. I mean, I got almost 4,000 videos, so I ain't going to look for them. But if you want to, you can type in things about that. You probably will find them, by IP addresses and stuff like that. But the most important thing on there, well, for one, they were making certain settings disappear. Like they were just taking it off of the going into the coding and taking things away. So like they would completely take options away, like where IPv6, the option for it wouldn't even show up because they didn't want me getting on there. They didn't want me getting on anything that was going to mess them up. So they would take those settings completely off of the interface. And there was like they were gone, right? But I was documenting it like crazy, right? So all of these things are hard evidence. But the very important thing on there is the log file. So if you can, your service is different. If your service or your modem is different, then the IP probably would be different. But if you Google it or look on the back of your router, you can probably find your IP address and how to access your online web-based interface that controls your whole service. Okay, and from there, the log file is very important. In the log file, I could see where they would run this program and I could always tell like right when they did it because it would like shut me down. Like I couldn't hardly get a page to load, and they would basically steal my internet, and it was to do their live streams. And it's part of what they do. It's a big part of what they do is to um, hijack your own Wi-Fi and your own devices, right? They'll use your stuff to do their live streams of your neural monitoring of them gang stalking you with broadcasts. I swear to God. And it's a common practice, but it's one of the dumbest things that they do. The log file would show how, they would run this program, and then it would show all these different IP addresses. And it was all the IP addresses that were in that they were not like guys hiding outside my house. They were broadcast. Okay, it was each of them that were broadcasted around me had, and because their broadcast could access Wi-Fi. All right, so it gets pretty wild. Um, so you can see how many gang stalkers are broadcasting around you, and that's how many gang stalkers are around you physically as a broadcast hologram, using remote neural monitoring and doing live streams of it. Okay, that's how many of them are on your log file. You'll see it. You'll see what I'm talking about when you start to look into these things. I was looking into it all the time, but to be honest with you, like I couldn't win that battle. I couldn't. It was a battle that I couldn't win, and I was going to the police, and I was calling the service provider, and nobody really was technically uh, technically advanced enough to get to the bottom of it. They just, I mean, it's going to take a real deal network specialist and maybe a hacker, really like a serious coder, to get to the bottom of it because and these gang stalkers, they're not hackers, but they share stuff around like that. Like they'll just share a program, where they can run that, and they, that's it's to help each other from getting caught. They're all using remote neural monitoring. So obviously, they're not trying to get caught. So they all help each other. They could just get these coding packages or software from the neural monitoring site. It's something that gang stalkers share around. But um, it's a battle that I couldn't win, and without becoming a master expert. And I decided that um, it was my time was valuable, and I'm not that interested in becoming a master expert. I like to understand things at least generally, but to become a master expert, I mean, I'm not looking for a network engineer career. I'm just not. So I decided to abandon the whole situation. All right. So I've not touched Wi Fi in a long time, and I don't plan on it. I don't plan on touching any Wi Fi. I wouldn't go on Wi Fi if you paid me. I really wouldn't. And since then, um, I haven't really had a lot of problems. I got new devices, won't touch Wi-Fi with any of them, and I haven't had as many problems. But they used to have me trying to load up a 5-minute video would take like 30 hours to load if they would even let it complete. They completely control my internet, the speeds and everything. And you can access a lot of the statistics on Google too if you know how to get into some of the some of the deep settings and different type of things in Google, you can see a lot of your statistics like that too. So um, I forget exactly how to do that. If I recall it, then I'll make a video about it. But um, that's some of the things that are going on with me still. And I mean, not so much since I got off Wi-Fi, but they're still on my accounts. Okay, even though they don't have my devices hijacked anymore that I know of, and I'm able to do what I want to on the internet. But when I check my accounts, I can tell that they're still accessing my accounts, and then I know that they're still doing live streams through my Facebook account and through my Instagram account, and that's the main things that they use. So, um, I urge you guys to become aware of what's going on with that kind of thing, and to at least give yourself a general knowledge of how this is working, and kind of just fish around in your own stuff a little while, and don't go posting everything like, oh, look, this is, I see people post stuff all the time like, look at this where I'm being hacked, and it's just like normal stuff that, and they just don't understand what they're looking at. But the things I'm talking about, you can really access all of those, and I want you to try that. Try that with your router if you're using Wi-Fi. And if you're using Wi-Fi and you're being gang stalked and you're having device problems, they're on your devices and they're on your Wi-Fi. And your Wi-Fi is the main way that they're getting onto everything. It's not the only way they can, but it's the main way. And you have to be very hard-headed if they're going to do stuff like that. You got to file police reports and go to the service provider and make us think about this all the time, and do recordings. You've got to get a separate camera and set it in front of your screen and say, look, I'm doing this and this is what's happening. You can see that obviously I'm hacked. Okay. And this is the bottom line. Okay. It's against the law. And if you're going to make laws, then you're going to have to uphold them. And if you're not, then um, there might be some recourse available to us. If the police have laws that they're not enforcing, then we're just a victim of these things that are happening with no ability to be safe on our own devices, and it's a problem. So lawsuits from that, and I'm not a lawsuit person, but I'm about to be. So I'm fed up just as much as you guys are. I mean, just a couple of people get deleted off my account, and look, I got a 33-minute video going on and on about these idiots over here doing this dumb stuff. So anyway, that's what's going on. Sorry it was so long, but this is good information. I promise you, this is the truth. Everything I've ever come at you guys with is the real truth, and it is how these guys are operating. So anyway, that's what's going on. I'm gonna try to get some rest. As soon as I turn this light off, Marcus is gonna start his little girl scream thing, and then they're gonna start attacking me, and that's just what always happens. But hopefully, I'll just fall asleep real quick. I mean, my alarm's gonna go off in about 4 hours. Sleep deprivation. This is the life of a targeted individual. But our day is coming, and so is theirs. So my name's Kevin Christian. I appreciate you guys watching. Leave some comments. Hit me up. Thanks for watching.